Do you ever wish you could improve your memory? Have you ever been embarrassed because you've forgotten your colleagues' names? Do you ever wish you didn't have to constantly Google something that you really should remember? Well, keep listening as we delve into the secrets on how you can improve your memory and impress others today. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr Aziz. I'm a psychology graduate of Cambridge University and also a medical doctor. In this video, I'll be covering Unlimited Memory by world memory record Grandmaster Kevin Hosley. We'll learn the 4-point strategy to never forget your colleagues' names, how you can learn numbers and specific dates, and how you can remember everything that you ever learn. The first step to improving your memory is to improve your concentration. To do this, you must rid yourself of any conflict, meaning anything that leads your mind in different directions and stops you from concentrating. A key step in sharpening your concentration is to stop attempting to multitask. Countless studies have now shown that multitasking is not possible. Focus on one task at a time. Neuroscientists have found that multitasking not only slows you down by 50%, it increases the chances of you making a mistake by 50%. A good way of keeping your mind focused is the PIC rule. P, purpose. Give yourself a clear purpose in your mind for your learning. I, interest. Keep your interest high. C, curious. Always stay curious about your learning. Now that we know how to improve your concentration, let's find out how to retain information. Using creativity to remember is key. For example, if you're trying to learn the word polo, the Spanish word for chicken, picture yourself playing polo while riding a massive chicken and you'll never forget the word again. An acronym advocated in the book is the C method. This stands for senses, exaggeration, and energize. Senses. Information always enters our brains via our senses, so try and utilize all your senses. For example, if you want to remember the word horse, try and remember its skin, smell, touch, and even its taste. Exaggeration. Compared to an ordinary horse, you're more likely to remember bright pink horse wearing a tuxedo, right? You need to suspend logic or common sense. It's all about making funny, crazy pictures that stick. Energize. Think of a full speed galloping horse speeding into the sunset and you're more likely to remember it. The bottom line, utilize your whole imagination to bring things you need to remember to life. Now that we know how to create memorable images, it's important to try and organize them in your mind. The best way to do this is something called the root method, or more precisely, the loci method. This is the practice of combining new information with something already familiar. Think of your route to work. You're most likely very familiar with it and already utilize this method. So how do you put the loci method to work? Let's say you're trying to memorize bits of a speech you have to give. You would visualize walking around your house along a particular route. In each room, you would pick 3 specific locations and put them in a particular order. You then systematically place parts of your speech in these specific locations of each room of your house. For example, if part of your speech is summer camp, you can remember this by imagining your family pictures on the refrigerator. The loci method is effective because it will work with any structured location, whether it's your car, body, or museum. You will remember both the items and the order utilizing this method. Feeling skeptical about this method? Well, consider this. The author used this very method to remember the first 10,000 digits of the number pi. Remembering numbers and dates. It's always impressive when a person can remember a specific date or complex mathematical fact at the drop of a hat. You can learn to do the same. The key is to transform numbers into images that will stick in your head. The first step is to convert the number into letters. For example, 0 can be represented by the letters S, Z, and C. You can have different methods of number to letter allocations. For example, numbers can be represented by letters that sound similar or by shape. For example, if you flip the number 9, it looks like a P or a B. The next step in remembering a date or number is to write down the numbers that represent them and make a word. Let's say you want to remember the year 1969, when humans first walked on the moon. We know most memorable dates occurred in the last millennium, so we already know the first digit, 1. For 969, the sounds B, SH, and P should come to mind. Together, they can be used to make the word bishop. Final step is to make a picture for you to remember. Using the C principle again, remember senses, exaggeration, and energy. Take the word you have created and use your imagination. Think of a bishop dancing on the moon with Neil Armstrong and you'll never forget this year again. Remembering your colleagues' names. Is there anything more embarrassing than forgetting your workmates' names? Well, to never face this embarrassment again, utilize the 4-step system, the 4 C's. Concentrate, create, connect, and continuous use. Concentrate. You must concentrate on the person's name. Say it out loud if you can and repeat. If it's tricky, ask for the spelling. Create, be creative. For example, the author's name is Horsley. You can imagine a horse fighting Bruce Lee. Connect. Once you've sorted your image, connect it to the face of the person. Continuous use. Repetition is what will make names stick. Do you remember much of what you learnt in school? According to the author's research, within 2 years of finishing school, people can only recall about 3 weeks worth of lessons from 12 years of daily classes. So how do we remember things that we learnt? You need a review process. All this learning is pointless if you don't have a system to make things stick and to retain. But what is the most effective review method? Each time you revisit what you've memorized, the information you've absorbed has more of an impact on your mind than previously. After learning something new, you should try and review it regularly. The most effective method of doing this is to space out your reviews. For example, after you learn something, you should review it after 1 day, then 3 days, then 7 days, and so on. Even during the review process, make use of memory techniques that you've learned. The C principle, the senses, exaggeration, and energize that we mentioned before should have provided you with clear, vivid images to bring information to life, so use this. It's always a good idea to stay focused on your main goal too. If you're learning a language, for example, booking a trip to that country could be the motivation you need to not just practice, but to accelerate and supercharge your learning. In summary, to make information memorable, you need to bring it to life. The best way of doing this is to connect it to something you already know, using your senses and your imagination. Finally, by reviewing what you've stored in your mind, you'll make sure that it's never forgotten. Anyway, I hope you learned something useful and enjoyed this summary. If you want to keep learning about psychology, medicine, or life hacks, hit the like, subscribe, and notifications button. Any suggestions or comments, feel free to post below. Until next time, stay safe.